I've been a private investigator for 12 years, and most cases are exactly what you'd expect. Messy divorces, insurance claims, people who want proof of something they already suspect. When a woman hired me to follow her husband, I figured it would be another routine job. A few photos, a written report, maybe a court appearance if things got ugly. But the first night I tailed him, something felt off. Not in the guilty way most cheaters act. No nervous texting, no detours to cheap hotels, no obvious double life. He moved with a kind of purpose I couldn't figure out. Every turn he made seemed intentional. Every stop felt planned. I didn't know it at the time, but this wasn't a cheating case. Not even close. It all started when I received a voicemail. All I heard at first was shaky breathing. The kind someone makes when they're trying not to cry. Then a whisper.
Please, I think my husband is cheating on me. I don't know who else to call.
There was a pause. 5 full seconds of dead silence before her voice cracked again.
He's been leaving at night. He says it's work, but he doesn't take his laptop anymore, and he comes home different, not tired, excited, like he enjoys whatever he's doing. Please help me. I need to know what he's doing.
She didn't leave a name, but the number was there. I listened to it twice, then called back. She picked up on the first ring.
Hello?
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm a private investigator. You left me a voicemail a few minutes ago.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to call this late.
It's fine. I'm awake. Can you tell me your name?
Marissa. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said all of that on a message. I just didn't know how to start.
Most people don't. Listen, this isn't a conversation you want to have over the phone if you can help it. Are you comfortable meeting in person?
Somewhere public? I don't want my husband to know.
Public is fine. I asked what the closest coffee shop was and told her we could meet there. She said quietly,
I could be there in the morning. I'll tell him I'm going grocery shopping.
We settled on 9:30 a.m. When I hung up, I saved a number in the voicemail, then stared at my phone for a long minute. Most cheating cases start with anger, rage, betrayal. People spit venom when they talk about their spouses. Marissa didn't sound angry. She sounded afraid. I tried to sleep, but my mind kept replaying her voice. The pauses. The way she emphasized the word excited, like it was the worst part. Affairs don't energize people. They drain them. They make them reckless, sloppy, tired. But excitement comes from purpose. That was the first thing that bothered me. By morning, I'd barely closed my eyes. I showered, dressed, and drove to the coffee shop she mentioned. A quiet, independently owned place, tucked between a pharmacy and a thrift store. The kind of spot where people pretend to read books while eavesdropping on everyone else. I got there early and took a booth in the back. Habit. I like walls behind me. At exactly 9:29 a.m., the bell over the door chimed. Marissa walked in. She scanned the room like she expected someone to leap out of the shadows. Her eyes landed on me, and she hurried over, shoulders tight, movements small, like she was trying to take up as little space as possible.
You came,
she said, almost surprised. Of course, it's my job. Please take a seat. She did, placing her purse on her lap, fingers locked around the strap. That grip told me more about her emotional state than anything she'd said so far. A barista came by. Marissa ordered a tea she didn't touch. I waited until we were alone again. "Tell me what's going on." She took a long breath, steadying herself.
My husband, he works in logistics for a warehouse. For years, everything was normal. Long days, occasional overnight, overtime, nothing strange. About 6 months ago, he started getting calls late at night.
What kind of calls?
I don't know. He'd step outside or into the garage. At first, he'd talk. Lately, he just listens. The night trip started soon after. He leaves between 11 and 1.
What does he take with him?
Keys, sometimes a jacket, never his laptop, never anything from work. He comes back a few hours later and he's happy. Not relieved, not nervous, happy. He hums.
She whispered, as if the word itself was obscene.
Like he's proud of himself.
Goosebumps crawled up her arms as she spoke. She rubbed them without realizing. Have you confronted him?
Once I asked where he really goes. He smiled and said, "You don't want to know. Work drama." Then he kissed my forehead and went to bed like nothing happened. I know he isn't being called into work randomly.
There was no tremor in her voice when she repeated those words. Just certainty and fear. "What do you want from me?" I asked. She didn't look confused. She didn't hesitate. She didn't flinch.
I want to know what he's doing. Whatever it is, I have to know.
I slid a contract across the table. She signed without reading. "Don't confront him again," I told her. "Don't change your behavior. Act like life is normal. I'll handle the rest." She nodded, stood, and left without finishing her tea. I waited a minute, then stood to go. That night, when their garage door opened at 11:42 p.m., I was already parked a block away, lights off, camera ready, tracking him before his tires even hit the street. I thought I was about to expose a cheater. Instead, I was about to follow a man into the darkest hobby I've ever seen. He didn't take the highway, and he didn't go anywhere near the industrial district Marissa mentioned. He drifted along back roads like someone following invisible directions, never signaling, never hesitating. Every time I thought I'd lost him, he'd reappear at the next intersection. At 12:17 a.m., he turned into a storage facility, a fenced-in patch of metal buildings on the edge of town. One flickering street lamp buzzed overhead, illuminating rows of roll-up doors. Nothing about the place screamed criminal. It was too normal, too boring. And somehow, that made it worse. He rolled down his window, punched a code into the keypad, and the gate slid open with a cheerful beep that didn't match the dead silence of the night. No bags, no boxes, no laptop. Just keys, and a casual stroll like he'd done this 100 times before. I waited 30 seconds, then slipped inside behind him. I killed my headlights, creeping down the center lane until I spotted him halfway down row C, standing in front of a unit marked 109. His shoulders relaxed as he lifted the door. That's when I heard it. Music. Not loud, not distorted, just wrong. Classical, slow, delicate. Something that belonged in a candlelit ballroom, not a midnight storage unit. It floated into the air like perfume, soft and elegant. The kind of melody that makes you feel nostalgic for something you never experienced. I stepped out of my car, heart hammering, and moved closer on foot. The music grew clearer with every step, and underneath it came another sound. A voice, muffled, strained, wet with fear. Please, please don't. I froze. Someone else was inside. Not a recording, not an echo. A living, breathing person begging for something I couldn't comprehend. Then another voice answered, calm and low, almost tender, like a parent soothing a child.
Relax.
After that one word was spoken, I couldn't hear much, until there was a break in the music. After a long moment of silence, I heard him again. This time, no words. He was humming along to the same classical tune, drifting out of that metal box, perfectly in time, like the music wasn't coming from speakers. The metal door began to rattle open. I tucked away behind the closest corner and peered out. He stepped out, locking the unit behind him with a casual turn of the key. No panic, no guilt. He didn't even look around. He just slid the lock closed, pocketed the key, and strolled back to his car, like a man leaving a gym after a good workout. And as he walked away, he started humming again. The same tune, the same rhythm, the same impossible calm. Whatever was behind that door wasn't his secret shame. It was his favorite part of the night. I watched him as he left. When his taillights finally disappeared, I forced myself out of hiding and crept toward the storage unit. Each step felt heavier than the last. I wasn't sure what I expected to find. A clue, a lockbox, maybe just proof that the music hadn't been in my head. The metal door was shut tight, secured with an old padlock, polished smooth by years of use. I stood there staring at it, my pulse thundering in my ears. I leaned closer, listening. Nothing. No music. No voices. No breathing. Just silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that feels like something has already happened. My hand brushed the lock before I realized what I was doing. Fingers trembling as though opening it were a reflex instead of a decision. I tugged, testing it, trying to see if there was any give. The metal clanged louder than I meant, echoing through the rows of storage units like a shout. That was when I came to my senses. I wasn't supposed to be investigating a crime scene. I was supposed to be observing a spouse. Somewhere along the line, the job had shifted and I hadn't noticed until now. I turned to leave. He was standing right behind me. No footsteps, no warning. Just there. I barely had time to inhale before something bright flicked in his hand, and pain tore across my cheek. The cut was shallow, but sharp enough to blind me with tears. I grabbed my face, stumbling back, staring at the blood slick on my fingers. The knife was pristine. My blood was the only imperfection on its surface, glowing under the flickering street lamp. He lifted it up, examining the red smear like a jeweler assessing a diamond.
If you're gonna do surveillance, you should really bring a weapon or something to protect yourself.
I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. He stepped closer, completely calm.
My wife thinks I'm cheating. That's cute. She knows something's wrong, but she hasn't figured out what.
He tilted his head, studying my wound with clinical curiosity.
You have no idea how valuable you are. A private investigator sneaking around. No weapon, no backup, no alibi.
He smiled then. It was confident. He lowered the knife just enough for me to see the dark edge, stained with my blood.
I don't even have to touch you again. If something happens, this is enough. Your DNA, my lock, your prints. You look like a man trying to get inside somewhere he shouldn't be.
My stomach turned to ice.
You understand what that means, right?
It wasn't a question. I did. He stepped back, folding the knife away like he was settling the bill at a restaurant. His voice dropped to a whisper. I felt more than heard.
You're involved now, whether you meant to be or not.
He smirked.
Continue to report to my wife. Tell her you're still investigating. When I need your help, I'll get in touch with you. Until then, take care of yourself and keep a low profile.
He turned and walked toward his car, calm, humming the same soft classical melody I'd heard earlier, like all of this was simply part of his evening routine. The gate beeped as he exited. The night went still. My cheek burned. My hands shook. And for the first time since taking this job, I understood something with absolute clarity. He didn't just want me to follow him. He wanted me on the record. If you are based in the UK and would like to enjoy freshly batch roasted coffee delivered to your door, visit vitalcoffee.co.uk and use the coupon code mrfreakystory to get 10% off from all products. I will leave a link in the description below.